you guys, it's me, Dr. Torie. My book is officially out. And yes, it is time to talk about ACEs. You guys can find the books everywhere. However, I would encourage you guys to go to my website, Be VicTORIEus.com, and place your order today. Yes, it's time to talk about ACEs. Let's go, y'all.
Hello, 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 you guys. Welcome to a series we are deciding to do. This podcast is 3 years old and it has been used as an educational tool worldwide, which is the reason why we just came from our ACES International Awareness Conference. Awareness, community, and empowerment is what we do. And it is my pleasure to introduce to some, but reintroduce to the world LP. Let me tell you guys, if you all don't know, Mr. Number 15 on the podcast. LP is actually one of the first people that I have mentored. And look at what he has done. LP, where are you?
What's going on, Dr. Torie?
You all have to understand, I have been using this podcast as an educational tool, and this is what I do. We together have been educating people for the past 3 years. LP was one of my originators. He was number 15, so let's be clear. I will let you all know how this goes. I started mentoring. This is what I do. I want people really to understand and know about ACEs. LP has already been doing this. So, what happened was I was a guest on his podcast first. And he was one of the big inspirations by going and trying to get people to get me out there because he was so amazed by my podcast that I did 3 podcasts on his podcast. Tell us about your podcast, LP.
Greetings, everybody. Thank you, Dr. Torie, as always. I and my wife, Mrs. LP, as everybody calls her, we created a podcast through our company. The podcast is entitled Trigger Warning Talk Podcast. It's all 4 words. Trigger Warning Talk Podcast. You can stream it, audio or video, on pretty much any platform. You can watch them on Spotify and our YouTube channel, which is our company name. The purpose of the podcast was twofold. One, I wanted to do a podcast for a long time. And two, I wanted to talk about things that most people don't talk about in one podcast. So we cover 5 topics. We cover sexually based offenses, human and sex trafficking, true crime, missing persons, and domestic violence. Now, all of those conversations that we have, we always end with a missing person case. And most of those cases are Black and brown folks because we want to bring more media attention to that. The other thing that I will add to why we created this podcast is because I'm a retired paramedic and firefighter, and those issues that I just named that we talk about, we don't get a lot of training, hardly any, on those, and we respond to those calls all the time. And so when I was looking through podcast world, there's podcasts on domestic violence or on sexual based offenses or on trafficking, but they're just single in and of themselves. Nobody has a podcast that covers all of those from a first responder's perspective also. So that's why we wanted to talk to the public, and we interview people like yourself who deals with adverse childhood experiences, because that plays a part in domestic violence, that plays a part in sexual based offenses, that plays a part absolutely in human and sex trafficking. It is a true crime topic that I want to, with your assistance, going to approach it from a true crime perspective. And there's many, many, many missing persons because of their ACEs. So that's the correlation between you and I, where you're the foremost expert that I know of. And I've been seeing so many more people engaged in conversations about ACEs because of the work that you're doing, the work that you have done, the work that you and I are going to continue to do. as well as the CDC giving it more props and giving out more information about ACEs. It's really becoming more of a mainstream conversation, which is the goal.
And that's the reason why we had the book, because the book is good and the book works. So let's be clear. We had to have this series. And I think what I enjoy the most is when I put it out there, you was the first person to sign up, because respectfully so, you should. People really want to know about our community. We have built this wonderful community. I have to say we, because you are a part of this community. I actually met Albert through you. And what people don't understand and know is that's what we need: awareness, community, and empowerment. That's what's going to help us get more of an awareness of ACEs out there. And we're doing that right now. I love Mrs. LP. I always shout her out. She's been amazing. It's even like I was letting, my producer know, it's becoming more of a resource, really, which is the reason why you helped me come up with this wonderful idea of Be VicTORIEus Foundation, because this is what we need to do. We don't need to put this information and not share. I'm willing to work and have a conversation with everybody. I really love how you use the ACEs quiz when you're doing your work. So we're not just only talking about ACEs, we're living it. This is what we're doing. We're the superheroes out here. We're the ones that are having a conversation. So I have to thank you so much for doing that, because you have been one of the main people that have helped me do this. So again, thank you. So let's get to it. What have you been doing?
This year has been very trying for me. I lost my grandmother, who turned 93 the day after her birthday. February 17th is her birthday, and the next day she died in her sleep in her nursing home.
Sorry to hear that.
But hey, grandma lived to be 93 and she died in her sleep.
Right.
Look, sign me up for that.
Yeah.
So I've been dealing with that. That caused a number of fallouts in the family, primarily based on my previous relationship with my ex-wife, because she showed up and my grandmother did not like her. And there was a whole bunch of reasons why she didn't like her. Some of it had to do with ACEs that even affected the children,
Right.
who were there, because we have 6 children together. And so dealing with that fallout, and then I got pneumonia right before the conference, and I had
Really?
pleural effusion. Now I'm 54, so this is the first time I ever got pneumonia and all that, and I'm like, felt like somebody cracked me in the ribs, and I had to take off work for a while. So it was just a whole bunch of stuff that happened like all in one span of time.
Yeah.
Speaking of ACEs, so I've been talking to you about my daughter Lucy, who is our youngest child, who turns 18 on Christmas. Well, last year I started the process of getting her here in North Carolina with us, because she and her mom had fallen out over the last 4 years, when I allowed her to go back to live with her. And so that ended up collapsing. Like, I just ended up closing the case out after a year and a couple of months. And it just seemed like the court was not vibing on making this situation the best for Lucy and our family and different things like that. So
Let me put a pause in it real quick for you guys. I have my license. I work in special education, been in special education. And so Larry also uses me as a tool, as a research, to help with those services. So again, it's Be VicTORIEus Foundation, because we do a lot. So again, now you can go back. That's what we're talking about. Thank you for that.
Oh yeah. So we wanted to get Lucy here because she's just finishing her junior year to continue school, and my ex-wife had been keeping her from me for the last 4 years, even though we had moved. She was violating the court order, so we were fighting through all of this stuff or whatever, and it just culminated into us literally spending tens of thousands of dollars on legal fees to end up having nothing.
Oh, and I hate to hear that, but I got to give you your credit, because you did what you needed to do to advocate for And that's what you're supposed to be doing. Remember,
This is where Albert came into.
uh-huh.
So this is how Albert came into the picture because Albert is not only an attorney, he's a guardian ad litem. So I had a guardian because we're all from, you, myself, Albert, we're born and raised in,
Missouri. Mm-hmm.
and he's in Jeff City. I'm from St. Louis. You're from KC. So
Right.
west central eastern part of the state.
He represented us at this conference, let's be clear.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
I saw all those videos. I'm telling you, I wish I was there, and I'm telling you, it ain't gonna happen again,
I
Doctor.
know it. I know it.
So Albert was very instrumental in giving me a lot of counsel, pro bono also, because he didn't represent me. So just
Mm-hmm.
for clarity purposes, he gave me a lot of information that I used to help in this situation because it directly affected my daughter because she's only 17.
Mm-hmm.
She's still dealing with the adverse childhood experiences post divorce because her mom and I got divorced in 2013,
Right.
and just this back and forth with the co-parenting or lack thereof because it takes two to tangle. And so when I talked to you before we did our three-part series talking about talking about ACEs. We talked about your story. We talked about everything about ACEs and then the modalities. I applied all of that, Dr. Torie, in these last few months.
Good for
And I
you.
know you and I haven't really talked because I've been all over the place.
Yeah.
I'm juggling all these balls in my life. And I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
I'm 54 years old. I'm still dealing with ACEs because I found out stuff about my own childhood from my own mom because I was raised in a single parent household in St.
Right.
Louis. Okay.
Right.
My dad lived no more than 30 minutes away from me. And I told you my story before where he ghosted me at the age of 9. I never
Mm.
saw him again after that.
Right.
And so I'm finding out more information about him because remember, I told you everything I know about my biological dad, peace be upon his eternal soul forevermore, because I hated him for years.
Mm.
So I turned 30. Everything I know about this man, I know from somebody else.
Mm.
I don't know anything about my dad directly from him. And really, I would say indirectly because he never had a journal or nobody's presented one to me. I know his widow. I don't have any writings from him. I got some pictures of him. I even have a album, a hard copy album that a cousin of mine on my dad's side did because we do family reunions every 2 years. And he has a picture in there. I know more about, and I was talking to Mrs. LP about this because
Mm-hmm.
I said, you're going to interview me today again. I
Mm-hmm.
said, you know what? Dr. Torie's going to interview me today. I've got to get into this ACEs stuff.
We gotta make it to where people understand that what we're doing, we're normalizing behaviors that we don't need to. And I'm listening to you tell your story. You know what I mean? Because this is what I am doing.
I'm telling you, I know more about everybody in this family. It's like a hard copy of our ancestry on on my dad's side, my paternal side. I know more about everybody in that book than I do him. And I was sitting there, I said, you're gonna love this because you got to interview Mrs. LP too. Because
Mhm.
she got a very similar story. She was adopted at birth. She's
Mhm.
biracial. She has a white mom. She has a black dad. She had
Mhm.
found everybody on her mom's side. She had found everybody on her dad's side, except for her dad, until a few months ago. So
Mhm.
we've been kind of dealing with that stuff or whatever. And I'm telling you, she knew more about everybody else in her family. I'm talking about going back hundreds of years than
Mhm.
she did her dad.
Mhm.
And I said, it is so crazy how she's 47, I'm 54, that we're still dealing with the fallout of the adverse childhood experiences about our fathers
Mhm.
that are no longer here, that did not raise us. Her biological dad didn't raise her, nor did her biological mom,
Mhm.
because she was adopted at birth. And then I was just like, wow, let's talk about some of these things that we have in common because we're still dealing with ACEs. So I don't care how old you are. I
Exactly.
don't care where you live. I
Mhm.
don't care how you vote. I don't care what you believe in or lack thereof. I don't care how much education or lack thereof that you have. ACEs affects you from birth to death.
Come on, LP, preach.
Let's talk.
I'm just saying, the book is called Let's Talk About Aces. Do not get me hype up in here because these are the conversations that we need to be having. I promise you, I told Marv, I said, LP didn't make it. I said, I don't know what happened. I said, but I'm telling you, it had to be something because I know for a fact LP was coming. LP was supposed to be teaching. LP is supposed to be doing exactly what you're doing right now. So thank you, because that's what people need to understand and know. This is going to have an effect on you. We all have it, you guys. You all need to pinpoint on it, understand what it is. That's the reason why I started off with chapter 1 being understanding your generational trauma. If you don't understand it, it's going to have an impact. And you just explained it. Thank you so much. What a great lesson. Because that's what this is. I thank you for sharing.
I'm glad you're smiling right now. You know why? Because I'm in tears.
I know you are.
Here's why, in part. And this is the other part. Because I had to kind of shut down,
Mm-hmm.
and I had a big falling out with my mom. And this is right after the funeral.
Mm-hmm.
And I went to St. Louis to help bury my grandma, and I left. I didn't hang out with the family. Me and Mrs. LP, we drove. I said, I'm only going to be here for the funeral, and then we're leaving. And that's exactly what happened.
Real.
Because of all these aces and stuff, and the things that, again, that I found out from my mom and from my family and some of these other issues and stuff. And, they always say at funerals and weddings, you find out who people really are.
Yeah.
And that was thrown at me from some of the family members. I always say, Dr. Torie, I got more relatives than I got family.
Yep.
You heard me say that.
Yep. You
I
have.
have more relatives than I have family, and that's unfortunate.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want it to be like that. I
Yep.
want a symbiotic relationship with family and friends and people like that. I feel like in a lot of ways, you're a sister to me than my own biological sisters.
Mm-hmm.
I can't tell you the last time I had a conversation with them. And you know what,
Yeah.
Dr. Torie? Ain't nobody blocked.
Right. Right. I feel you on that. I feel you on that. It's crazy
I'm
because
telling you,
these
I
are the
was.
conversations that I have, and I feel like our podcast, we've been out here. We've gotten to know each other. We've done that. But I think it's time for our podcast to turn into this direction to
Absolutely.
let people know I didn't know you at all. We bonded off of the strength of understanding ACEs. However, the stories, people need to understand and know exactly what this is for them to understand. I hate to hear that you went through this. I really do. But what I am going to address that you might not know is the fact that you went down there for the common purpose of burying your grandmother. You placed your boundaries and you left. Good for you. And
I
I
was.
and I'm only telling you this because as someone that has aces as well, I don't hide my aces. I talk about it all the time. It's a part of my conversation. We have to do what we need to do to address it and understand it. So I understand that you might be up, but the awareness is the reason why you protected yourself and Mrs. LP,
Oh,
placed your boundaries, and you got out there and left. Congratulations. Because a lot of us would have just endured it. We would have just hey, let me and then stay. I was okay. So I'll share with you. I actually haven't shared with people at all. I just shared with my producer. I end up having seizures on the way back, and I know it had a lot to do with the stress. I do. I did a lot, like, no shade. I mean, it was our first conference, but it was a lot. It was overwhelming. But when I tell you, I knew that I knew what I needed to do, and I didn't do my part. You know what I mean? So it's taken me a minute to get back together. I'm together and I'm good. But I'm telling you that awareness is everything. That awareness is what got you where you are now. So you have to understand while we're understanding and we're learning and we're healing, it's a part of your healing.
I was broken. And I told my mom this. I said, Mom, I'm broken. She was like, What do you mean? I said, I'm broken. All of this stuff with Lucy and his court case and this, the fallout from the death of my grandma and everything that we're dealing with. Yesterday my nephew graduated from one of the local high schools here. He lived in Missouri, and he's the blood nephew of my ex-wife. And so we're dealing with his aces because I got him out of that situation.
Mm-hmm.
He was doing some suicidal ideation texting with me. And so we got him here on Halloween of last year, and he just graduated high school.
Mm.
And I'm telling you, I didn't want that young man. He's 18 now. I didn't want that young man to deal with any more aces. I said everything on the other side, because we live in North Carolina. I said
Right.
everything that you've experienced on the other side of the Mississippi, because that's where St. Louis starts, is you don't have to deal with that stuff no more. Okay. You're always going to have aces. It doesn't matter how old you are. How can I, as someone who loves you, who is treating you like family, not just a relative, how can I and Mrs. LP help you? What can we do to help you help yourself?
Mm-hmm.
State that. How can we help you help yourself? Because I got a whole family that can be your family that's not blood, like Dr. Torie,
That's
like,
right.
like Leah, who's a
Mm-hmm.
childhood domestic violence,
My girl.
you know, like Albert, who went through even way more,
Oh.
you know, his siblings. His siblings are my siblings
Yeah.
now because
Yeah.
we did that a sibling bond series on the podcast. And so, Dr. Torie, I want to thank you so much for being
Mhm.
the hub.
Thank you so much.
You are the hub that we all have an attachment to.
Yeah, I think it's kind of cool. We've really built the community, and I really, really, really appreciate it. I do. And I think that's the reason why, I was telling my producer who is a board member. So he is, also behind Be Victorious Foundation. That's what we're doing. And he's well aware that we have created this wonderful community, and this is what has been going on. So I think it is nothing but God that you were the first person to do this. Francine was actually there. I put you and Francine together, and Francine represented honey when she went to that conference. Like I said, it was never worse. Oh my God, I knew there was something going on because we communicate already. And so that's the reason why we did the conference. We had this conversation. People have to understand and know there were a lot of people that, because of life, could not attend. Trust and believe me. But you're never not going to be nothing but family to me, because what we have done and what we have created, help create, implement, you have to pat yourself on the back for that. You do know you have to do that class though, because they also wanted that CPR training. They wanted that. If you all are not aware, LP is he could teach you from anywhere. This is what he does. He is certified. And so he can actually certify you from any place in the United States. So if you all are looking for a speaker, if you're looking for someone that cannot just only educate you on ACEs, because I know he can actually certify you on CPR, he's the one. This is what we consider community. We have to start doing that for each other, you guys, because if we don't, but look at what we've created here. So, yep, it's a community, it's a family. This is what we are doing. And I have to thank you. Anything, because we had this, I like actually the way that this went. But is there anything you want to say to our guests, to anybody else that wants to know about ACEs? What would you like to share?
I should have said trigger warning earlier. However, if you're triggered at any point throughout this interview and you need help immediately as a retired first responder, I'm going to tell you, call 911 immediately. Okay. If you're not triggered immediately where you need 911, but you need help, call 988. That's the suicide and crisis hotline. It's available 24/7 here in the United States. It's toll free. They have all kind of resources available for you. If you want more information about ACEs, you can buy the book. Okay, it's time to talk about adverse childhood experiences by Dr. Torie McDonald Williams. I got an autographed copy right here. Let me see. Y'all see that?
That's right. And you
Oh,
can get it
this ain't
off
no
of
AI,
my
okay? This is the book.
uh-huh.
Okay, this ain't no AI.
And you can get it off of my Be VicTORIEus.com. You can go and get yours too. Let's go. Shout.
Oh, I got you. I'm doing my promo for you.
I
So
appreciate it.
go to the Be Victorious Foundation. You can get merch. Okay, you can. This is merch. Okay, this ain't no AI. Okay, go to Be Victorious, BeVictorious.com. Okay, she got all kind of social media. All you got to do is look up Dr. Victorious, and it's Dr. VicTorius. Okay,
Let's go.
don't get it twisted. Okay, don't get it twisted.
Let's go.
Let me tell y'all something. Okay, everything that we do, and I'm talking about Dr. Torie, is merit based. Everything that we do is merit based. Okay, degree, license, certified, educated, everything. She does not have an honorary doctorate.
Oh,
It's an earned doctorate, okay? Now, she may get some honorary doctorates, but her first doctorate was earned, baby dog.
yes, it is.
Put some respect on her name. It's doctor.
It's called research. This is my mentee, let's be clear. And I think that's the reason why I love Be Victorious Foundation because, of course, I have younger mentees, but since I've been out here for you guys, educating the world internationally
That's right.
about ACEs, I have a lot of ACEs ambassadors. So LP is one of my ACEs ambassadors, one of the first. And again, I want to tell you thank you so much. I thank you for the update. I think you actually just changed the tone of how we're going to do the where they are now. I think we just need to have the conversation. I think we just need to talk about ACEs because I think that's what listeners are actually going to be looking forward to. And just so you know, I have been requested. I was on TikTok. You know, I'm on TikTok. I got off of TikTok because I didn't, I keep the politics to myself.
Right.
But yeah, but I've actually gotten a request and I will be on there co-hosting with someone. So I think that's something that I would actually like to consider coming back on TikTok is doing this and us continuing to have conversations like once a month. I think that'd be cool.
Absolutely. Here's what I'll say in closing, in part. I don't do the politics, okay, but I'll talk to people about that, and you're more than free to express whatever you want to express. When I teach, I talk from a merit based. Okay, you don't want to say DEI or DEI is illegal and all this stuff. All right, what's the verbiage that you prefer? Oh, merit based. I got a 3-ring binder
Mm-hmm.
full of certs and all kind of stuff, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm working on my second one.
Yep.
So we can have it's just like when we talk about character, I'm like Stephen A. Smith. You want to talk about character, give me the time, the place, and the date, and I'll be there.
Yep.
Okay.
And that's what I
Merit-based
have to
stuff.
let people know. I have
Yeah,
people. I have been mentoring people. If you need people to talk about ACEs, it's more people out there besides me. And I
right.
would always recommend him. I will always recommend Fran. It's so many others that I can recommend now to have these conversations. Let's go, LP. Let's do what we got to
So we're gonna keep, you can call it whatever you want to call it.
do.
Okay. You like merit based? I absolutely love merit based. I would have no problem, and that's a whole nother conversation. I'm putting out your podcast because we did 4. I only got 3 out. I'm working on yours this weekend.
Okay.
But if you want to talk about whatever, it could be politics, it could be religion, it could be whatever. We
Mhm.
all want it to be merit based. We all
Yeah.
want to be not ignorant on the subject matters that we are dealing with in our lives,
Yep.
because a lot of this stuff has a correlation to ACEs.
Mm-hmm.
Politics, you can talk about, what did you learn about politics? When did you learn about politics? When I was a little kid at home, whether I was in an urban, suburban, or a rural environment, you know, where did you learn about religion? Same. Where did you learn about fill in the blank? And
Mm-hmm.
it's going to be starting from when you was knee high to a grasshopper.
Mm-hmm.
All that is your ACEs, because depending on who your teacher was or who talked to you or whom all talked to you,
Mm-hmm.
it could be some adverse stuff going on. And that's where we as educators,
Mm-hmm.
we as podcasters,
Yep.
we as merit-based professionals
Correct.
who earned every degree, license, and certification that we have.
Add and we represent the show me states.
That's right. Show me, baby. Shout out to my people in St. Louis who are recovering from the tornado that hit.
Yes,
Oh,
I actually have I have some information that I'm putting out about natural disasters, but we'll talk about that. That's actually
okay.
something that people don't realize is officially adverse childhood experiences now. So,
And you
mhm.
don't forget, your brother is a certified FEMA. I have a bunch of certifications. I had to have them while I was a first responder. I'm working on becoming an emergency manager now.
Mm.
So I'm still earning certs. Again,
Yep.
everything that we do is merit based.
Listen to this superhero. So this is
And
how, go ahead
no,
with
we
your.
will. No, that's I was just going. I'm always throwing it back to you. You know, because we tag team. And
Love it. Let me tell you something. This is the reason why I came up with this theme of us being superheroes. I think people need to know us cycle breakers. This is who we are and what we do. So I'm going to end with this one. If you were a cycle breaker, that you are, if you were a superhero character, who would you be and why? I'll start with mine first.
no, yeah, you go ahead.
Okay.
Great.
I always say, well, it just really depends on the day, let's be clear. But I like Wonder Woman. I like because, I mean, she was normal. I think of Linda Carter. She was normal. She came up, did her thing, but when she came out, she was everything. So I always put Wonder Woman for me because, as you see, I'm all over the place doing everything.
I look at myself more as the Batman character.
Okay.
And I say that because here's an ordinary guy who did some extraordinary things
Mm-hmm.
without having superpowers.
Oh, respect.
Okay. Remember when I interviewed you, I showed you that plaque that I have that I got from
Mm-hmm.
this LP, and I wish I had it in the room here. It's a plaque with the EMS Star of Life, and it's a wooden plaque, and it says, "All superheroes don't wear capes."
Exactly. That's why I came up with the idea, just so you know. I have been talking about us being superheroes ever since because I just admired how you really, don't hide your respect. And I appreciate it. You know what I mean? When you have aces, it's every now and again, it's like, you kind of question it, but you have always called me a superhero. You've always called me your mentor. You've always supported me. And I really appreciate that. So, on that note, I want to tell you guys this is what we have done. This isn't scripted, this is us. And
Well,
this is what I love about understanding ACEs. This is the reason why God placed me in this position to do this full time because having this conversation, having this talk can have a huge impact on your life. So I thank you again, LP, for being there here. You guys will see, of course, much more of us. We have really built a community here. I have really built a mentorship here. I have really built a foundation. We are doing this internationally and we're having this conversation. So thank you guys so much. LP, let people know where they can find you.
you can find me on IG, the two places, LP Fire Medic. You can find me also at Penton _pending _CS for consulting solutions. But If you go to LP Fire Medic on my IG, there are links on there. Our podcast is on YouTube. It's under our company name, Penton Pending Consulting Solutions LLC. The podcast is called Trigger Warning Talk Podcast, all 4 words. Trigger Warning Talk Podcast. We have over 85 episodes. Again, this weekend, I'm going to be putting out Dr. Torie and I, our series on everything about ACEs. This will be part 4 of the podcast. You can find it on all your streaming platforms. You can watch it again on our YouTube channel as well as Spotify. Everywhere that you get your podcast, you can listen to us, and even especially the big ones like iHeartRadio and Audible and Amazon Music. Dr. Torie, we have a website. It's called pentonpending.com, and there's all the services. We're a consulting company. We do business consulting and emergency medical training. I'm a tactical EMS consultant. So all of the stuff that I do for the Red Cross, the Heart Association, the Health and Safety Institute, all of the information is on the website. And please reach out to us, pentonpending.com. We will help you with all your consulting needs and training needs. We travel all across the U.S. from Carolinas to California. Help you out.
And I would like to request if I can have your permission to get a resource hub started on my website.
Absolutely.
I would love that, because I think people need to know who you are and the things that you're really, really doing in the community. If we're going to do this, let's do this all the way. And I think that would be a good start.
Absolutely. Look, I'm going to tell you, it took wild horses to keep me coming to Chicago.
I know it. I know you. So I knew, I promise you, I was not worried. I put this out here publicly when I did not see. I was like, it cannot be money, because I know that was not even an issue or discussion. Something had to happen. I promise you, because it was a lot of people that did not show. And of course, that is expected. But when it come to you, it was never a question in my mind. I would tell you that for sure. I knew it was something. So thank you for taking time out of your schedule to do the Where Are You Now, and just really let people know authentically who we are and what we do for real. Because when we're conversing, this is us. So we done started something right here. Okay, you guys, y'all know where to find me. Y'all heard the promos. Y'all heard the Where Are You Now. We 100% real here, and this is what I love. So tune in, you guys. You'll see more people that are going to join, and we're going to continue to have this conversation. Any questions? You all know how to reach us. I'm Dr. Victorious everywhere, and I look forward to seeing you guys next time. Talk to you guys later. Bye-bye, you guys.